Welcome, I'm Steve, and I made the Mirror Machine add-on. This is going to be for hard surface modeling. So once you've downloaded this, you go into your edit and your preferences, you're going to see a few things. There'll be a little warning that says this is for use on hard surface models, predominantly flat surface, hard surface models. If you use this on round models, it's okay, you can do that. You'll just have to have dissolve edges turned off, which will mean it's not highlighted blue. You'll have a shortcut key, which is D predominantly. It works in edit and object mode, so I haven't had any problems there. You'll have a wireframe mesh inspection mode as well. And the wireframe mesh inspection mode is when you do actually model something, wireframe will turn on and automatically turn off. This will give you an opportunity to see your mesh and do, make whatever adjustments that you want. So with the dissolve edges turned off, if I go to mirror this, it's going to create a line right here, as you can see, and we'll cover this a little bit more. If I turn this on and go back to mirroring it, it will dissolve the edges, and of course you can see where that would potentially misshapen a round model. And then you'll have the classic auto smooth for 4.0 and below. So if you turn this on, certain operations will do an auto smooth for you automatically in the background. And then, of course, you can turn all of that off. You can change the pie menu to Shift Alt D, whatever you want. I'm going to be using D for the purpose of this tutorial because it works in edit mode as well as in object mode. I would consider the Mirror Machine, since it's just a pie menu, to be one of the quickest and easiest learn add-ons, period, on the Blender market. So you just have shading in this area, or you can shade it flat, smooth. There's an auto smooth nodes group. Now this is for Blender 4.0 and up, okay? And this is going to offer, when 4.1 is more engaged, an option to have the auto smooth group right in there. So it's already in there for 4.1. So some features do actually work in 4.1, but I wouldn't try it yet. Then you have a classic right here, which is your auto smooth setup. And let me just go ahead and shade it flat. You can see shade it smooth. Obviously, it doesn't work on this type of mesh. Then I can do a auto smooth classic. Okay, that is your auto smooth operator. This is the nodes group. Now, if you actually hold your mouse over, there will be tooltips on these. Like if you select an object, then an active object, you can switch the origin point over. Pretty cool. There's a 45-degree rotation right here, which is really cool for some certain modeling techniques where you want to press 1 and get an angle perfectly in front of your orthographic view. And so that will make some sense there when you need that. Now you'll also have a weighted normal here. It's a preset. So when you do click that, you'll have the weighted normals will pop up and it'll already be at keep sharp. And so that will be a really good way to have some nice shading. Now down here, you're going to have mesh controls for applying the location, rotation, and the scale. You'll have an all transform if you want to do the all thing at one time. Then you're going to have mesh primitives. So let's just back out of this. I'll delete it, and you'll see what we can do is we're going to drop in a plane. I know the plane and the cube kind of look similar, but just kind of look at it in the fashion of if you hit the Shift A mesh menu, you got plane, cube, circle, and so on, and this will be in relative same order. So if you add in a plane, you'll see that, add in a cube, and we'll go ahead and just delete those. And then if you want, you can add in the mesh circle, and then you can add in the torus, and so on. And everything is in there that's for all the basic mesh primitives. And that's going to be a little easier way to work with it. And then if you were to, say, throw in a cube, and you had this subdivided a number of times, this operator that's in here under D is mesh to sphere, and you can turn this into a sphere in 2 seconds. Very cool option, because ultimately you want your cube to be a sphere, your sphere to be a cube first. So, and that way it'll be a perfect shape. Then, of course, you can come up here, and now you can shade smooth, and that's the operator use for the shade smooth, and that will make more sense. Now for the upper right portion, you'll have a powerful area for geometry nodes additions. So this is actually an array, and you'll see if you just hover your mouse over, it'll say geometry nodes array. And if you click on that, you're automatically going to turn whatever object it is into an array. You'll have a nodes group here where you can change quite a few different settings. Don't worry, there's a lot you can do down here. I would say after you realize instances, then you could, render something out, but that's just going to be like whatever you put into this, you're going to array. And so if I bring up a mesh primitive cone and then bring this back up and array it, it's going to array the cones. And then it's going to also make that initial object kind of disappear, which is good because you don't want to see that. All right, the next one is going to be a classic array modifier. Very simple and easy to understand. Just a quick way to throw in an array. And the next one after that is going to be a grid. It's going to be pretty useful. You'll be able to make a geometry node instance grid very quickly. You can bring this down, make a floor pattern, anything you can think of. You can throw a random scale into this and make it look really cool really quick. So that would be very powerful and very useful for you. Now the next one after that is going to be a curve setup, and this one's a little bit more manual. So if you threw in a curve circle, something like that, and you wanted to array something on it, then we can go ahead and throw the curve group on there and then grab the array here for the circle. And then the cool thing is, obviously, you can jump into edit mode with this, hit X, delete those vertices. Let me jump back in here. I want to throw a plane in real quick. That's why this pie menu is so useful. And I want to grab the Bezier again and jump back into edit mode. And I can grab the draw pen, and I'll be able to draw this on, say, a surface. And now you can instantly draw that. Now, the only thing stopping you from making that look a little bit different would be the origin point. So if you want to change the origin point to this, you can just grab your cube. Let's turn this off, jump into edit, and I can just hit GZ1, boom, put that on the grid, turn this back on. And now everything is nice and neatly placed. So it's all about origin points. If you can see where those are now, those are all on top of the grid. So whatever makes sense to you, however you want to do it. And I can turn all of that off. And then the next item will be turning cavity on and off. You can turn it on and off. I just had it on, and you see that'll turn it off. So if I move the cursor over, the next button we can look at is going to be zapping the cursor to world origin. And now just to cover a couple of buttons I kind of skipped over, we've got the selected to origin switch over. So this is an interesting little thing here. So if I pull out any mesh object, whatever, and the purpose of this could be modeling something that you need to kind of anchor something to and have an animation. So I can now snap the origin of the selected to the active. So now if I rotate this on the Z, this is going to pivot around that particular object, which can be pretty darn useful, especially when you're animating or you just need to throw the origin in for the effect of modeling and mirroring. So then I could, of course, mirror that if I wanted to and have a mirror piece there. It just makes a lot of sense to do that. And it's kind of a little hidden gem, if you will, inside of Blender. So you can definitely accomplish something that you wouldn't be able to normally. Now for the next one, if we grab something like this, and then we want to take not necessarily a difference out, but we want to do that same type of trick where if you put a boolean and a solidify together, you get a slice. But there is an actual slice operator, and we're going to make use of it inside of Blender. So you come over here, you have a slice operation, and so now you can just do a slice right here on the fly, which is going to be pretty cool. And of course, don't forget, you can always go in to edit mode on your boolean cut and throw in all kinds of different things like bevels and chamfers, and add some very nice corners here so it looks really good. And that would be another thing that you can do. Then I've got the origin to geometry. So if for some reason I had taken this origin point and I had moved it off, you can see it's going to throw my mesh off completely. I'll go ahead and turn that back off. And yeah, so everything's off. So if I want to do this, I could throw my origin point back into geometry at bounds. And then you'll have an operator down here where you can change it from bounds center to median center if you wish, whatever is going to make sense for you. But that will be about it for the ones I skipped over. For the best part of this, we're going to go into vertex select. I'm going to hit Control V, and I'm going to actually bevel this vertice on the corner. You can see what's going on. And just to accentuate this, I'm going to use the carver tool. I've got a full tutorial on that if you guys are interested. And then we can shade this smooth again and get rid of those lines from the cutter because it's all gone. Very powerful hard surface tool. Now, one thing we can do is, since we're on the front facing, which is where you're supposed to be for mirror modeling, you can just hit D and swipe over to the left. And all you're doing is you're just catching mirror X positive or mirror X negative, Z up or Z down, and then there's a mirror for the Y negative. And the reason we're doing this from the front is because it's so much easier than having an extra button just to mirror to the back. And so if I just want to swipe down to the right, it will mirror that. Now we do need to turn on the wireframe and dissolve edges here, because this will make a lot of sense. And I can have the operator on here since I'm on Blender 4.0 for the auto smooth. And what I'll do is I'll just start a fresh one, jump in, grab one vert, beveled vert, looks good. And so now if I start swiping, you'll see wireframe will come on for just a moment and allow you to inspect the mesh. And normally you'll get those cut mirror lines in the middle, and those are being dissolved automatically. So now I can mirror that down to the bottom, looks good, and I can mirror that to the back. And then of course, if I wanted to cut some new holes in, you can for sure do that very quickly. And then I'm just going to auto smooth that one more time. And actually, wasn't going to get to it just yet, but there is a bevel preset on this. So I can add a bevel, and then you can add a bevel level 1 through level 8, depending on what you need. And level 1 is the smallest bevel that you can get. Just going to make sure cavity is turned on. There we go. And I can swipe all of this to the back top. And you see how nice and quick that is, and then it turns off wireframe for you, and then you don't have anything except for the Boolean lines, which is just kind of classic in Blender. You have to have those. And just a quick tip, if you wanted to eliminate certain corners, then you would bring out like the knife tool, and you would go along the axis, constrain it like on the Y, and tag these in between, and hit enter. And when you do that, you could conceptually get rid of by dissolving a couple of these side edges. But you do have to have 2 points on each one. And now that you've done that work, guess what? All you have to do is mirror that to the other side, to the back, and to the bottom. And now those are the exact same mirror lines or Boolean lines all the way around. And that is the power of the mirror machine, and that is the power of mirror modeling in general, which is very good. So you got to go pick up this add-on. Going to be on Blender Market soon, but it is on Gumroad right now. And then of course that's pretty much going to cover everything. So if you have any questions, leave something in the comments, come into the Discord channel, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial.